This past Saturday was the Berkshire Hathaway annual shareholders meeting, colloquially known as the Woodstock of capitalism. For those who aren't familiar with the event, it takes place in Omaha, Nebraska, the hometown of Berkshire Hathaway chairman Warren Buffett and vice chairman Charlie Munger. Its primary purpose, like that of all company shareholder meetings, is to report on the company's yearly performance while offering shareholders the opportunity to ask questions about the year's decisions and updates. Unlike other shareholder meetings, however, Berkshire Hathaway's is a weekend-long event for which more than 40,000 people from around the world flood the Midwest. Last April, I was lucky enough to attend the weekend in Omaha. So, in honor of this year's meeting, I thought I would share some thoughts I published last year after the event. I absolutely loved the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders meeting. If it seems odd that a 22-year-old girl would be made giddy by waking up at 5 a.m. to stand in line for 2 hours so as to get a good seat in an auditorium where the 86-year-old Buffett and 92-year-old Munger were going to speak, then you need to spend more time trolling interviews of these two on the internet, because they are, in no uncertain terms, hilarious and inspiring. But what impressed me most about the meeting was not the shopping opportunities or Buffett and Munger's funny and folksy yet informative answers to shareholder questions, or even the astounding number of people who had pilgrimaged to the not exactly sprawling metropolis of Omaha, but rather something far less quantifiable. I was struck above all by the event's pervasive sense of positivity and optimism. Amidst a political landscape that is highly and rightfully preoccupied with a lot of fears and partly the excesses of Wall Street greed and rising rates of economic inequality, the shareholders meeting served as a bright spot, rare these days it seems, of capitalist achievement. I was surprised to realize how surprised I was by this. I had grown so accustomed to the anti-anything that is capitalist and therefore imperialist and greedy mentality that reverberates through liberal college campuses, having just graduated from Tufts University, that I expected to grimace at an event centered around explicit talk of the stock market and implicit talk of getting richer. Instead, however, I left the meeting feeling a little bit prouder to be an American. So I thought I would reflect on that experience. First, it is worth noting that Berkshire Hathaway's investment philosophy stands in stark contrast to the norms of Wall Street. Berkshire Hathaway and the people who run it believe, and have successfully demonstrated, that consistent profits come from making long-term investments in companies with strong business fundamentals and a track record of proven success. This thinking stems from the idea that investing in a stock should be done in the same way one would buy a business, by assessing the management team, evaluating the business's past performance, learning about the industry's competitive landscape, and with that, coming to a determination about what a reasonable price to pay for the business, or in this case stock, would be. Consider some of Berkshire Hathaway's biggest holdings: Kraft Heinz, Coca-Cola, Apple, American Express. These staple American companies are a far cry from the derivatives, CDOs, and myriad other financial products and instruments that predominate the portfolios of many of Wall Street's largest institutions, and played an instrumental role in creating crises like that of 2008. If every firm and every investor acted more like Buffett, there wouldn't have been a 2008 at all. Berkshire's strategy also means that it succeeds when American businesses succeed. Berkshire's growth is predicated upon the growth of the subsidiaries they own, most of which are large companies that employ hundreds to thousands of American workers. When Berkshire Hathaway acquires or invests in a company, they provide it with the capital and resources to expand. This, in turn, creates broader job opportunities and helps the American economy across classes and sectors. Republicans today are fond of using the term job creators, and I roll my eyes every time they do, thinking of the hedge fund manager earning $1 billion a year, yet only employing like 100 suits from already wealthy families. The shareholders meeting, however, reminded me that there is, in fact, some truth to the job creator narrative, though it has been, unfortunately, co-opted and perverted by the Fox News types to justify limitless corporate greed and tax cuts for the rich. The idea that American capitalism has helped to raise living standards across the country and, frankly, around the world for over a century is not devoid from fact and is perhaps something worth celebrating. In this way, Berkshire's capitalism, though flawed as any system is, and it is highly flawed, Berkshire's board and executive team could do with a lot more diversity, and food policy in this country could use some big changes that are inhibited by companies like Coca-Cola and Kraft Heinz, Berkshire's holdings. Flawed though it is nevertheless one in which profit motives reign with care and consideration. The private sector has, no doubt, greater incentives to be efficient than does government, which leads to a better allocation of capital, benefiting the economy across the board. Berkshire Hathaway reminded me that capitalism doesn't need to inevitably lead to a state of existentially threatening inequality. When we get the incentives right, when we can get morality involved, capitalism does some good. I guess I'm saying, congratulations, America. Sometimes you get it right, and for that I am proud.